Now, you might have noticed some of these recently. Lids that are still connected to plastic drinks bottles.
Yes, it's to try and stop the tops from becoming litter, but it's divided opinion. Some people complaining the new lids are a nuisance.
Have a look at this. TV presenter Sam Nixon sharing his frustration on social media.
I'm sure I can't be the only one who thinks this, and I'm all for helping out the environment, but whoever came up with the idea of keeping lids connected to the bottle, it's annoying. It says on it, I am attached to recycle together. You can also recycle it if you take the lid off and then you screw it back on the top. It's just, my eye, I scratched my cheek. It's dangerous, is what it is. Also, I can't put the lid back on. It never goes back on. I can't put it back on.
We're joined now by Sarah Greenwood, who's a plastics and packaging expert, and Caitlin Atherton, an artist with Plastic Shed. That's a community group that creates new items from plastic waste. Morning, both of you.
Morning.
Now, I've got to admit, I do not see the problem with this at all. I didn't realise how much it was an irritant for some people. What are you hearing, Sarah?
Do you know what? It's 50-50. So I did a straw poll in the office where all plastics researchers were all engaged in recycling, and half the people appreciate it and say yes, that's a good thing to do, and other people share the same frustrations that Sam does. It's really frustrating.
Frustrating, but is it the right way to go? I mean, is it just a moment in time where people are a bit irritated about it? It'll happen, and then you get used to it.
Let's see. So previously we did this with cans. So I've got some cans here. I mean, I don't know if you remember.
Should I just wear
the old style ring pull?
Over that way. So, do you want to explain? So this is one where it was removed. This is removable.
Yes, you just removed the can, and what we did when we were teenagers, we actually popped the ring in the can, which was to save littering it.
Yes, but not everyone would have done that.
No,
clearly.
And so there was a littering problem with can ring pulls. Then some wonderful packaging engineering came along and actually meant that the ring pull actually stayed on the can while you used it, solving a litter problem overnight.
Sounds like such a simple solution as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so this is exactly what we're doing with bottles. So this is I don't know if you want to have a look at those. That's
okay. So that was. So what have we got here? This is just a regular plastic bottle. So I'll take that off. And there we go.
How much of a problem? Well, we demonstrate the other one, but how much of a problem were these single, or are these single bottle lids in terms of polluting the environment, Caitlin?
So they are quite a big problem, especially so where I'm from in Greater Manchester, they can't be recycled even now with them being attached. They're not supposed to still stay attached because they get into, because of the way the sort of recycling factory is, they actually end up getting into the glass recycling and cause loads of problems that way. So although the technology is catching up to be able to recycle them all together, because they're actually two different types of plastic, they actually aren't really supposed to be still, because we got caught up in Manchester.
They can't be recycled together?
Not where I am. So across the country, they're completely different wherever you go.
Right.
So it can be really confusing to know.
So if you're putting that in your mixed recycling in this part of the world, you're supposed to be taking that lid...
Yeah, unless it's like really, really firmly attached and it's not coming off, something like that, you are still supposed to be detaching it. So it's really confusing to know what to do, what's the best thing to do. Obviously, for me personally, I make art out of it, so when it's taken off, send it to me and I can do something out of it, so it's not completely wasted.
But there are EU rules about this. They're kicking in very soon.
Yeah. So in the EU, yes, and they're already in place in the EU. We're no longer part of the EU, so it doesn't apply to us, but manufacturers are bringing it in anyway.
And that's from, I think, is it from the 7th of July, so it's very soon. Yeah. But that will have no impact here.
I think it's good practice to do it here because although there are teething problems,
what does that mean?
It's the way recycling is going. So in order to capture as much plastic as possible in recycling, then gradually everybody will move towards that. And you'll have a look at the labels. I've had to take the labels off, but they will actually say recycle cap on. So that is the advice going forward.
There is a huge debate about the efficacy of recycling plastic, and a lot of people feel we just need to move away from a more plastic-free environment. Part of me thinks if we irritate people with these bottle tops, it might encourage them to use or reuse their own bottles more. You're not convinced, Caitlin, no?
I am always for. So it was interesting. So before today, I'd never actually opened one with the like lid attached because I always have my own reusable ones, and that's always the one I would push forward. And part of me actually kind of agrees with what you said. If, you know, a lot of people I know who have used it, they say, oh, it annoys them and they rip them off anyway. And maybe it's that thing of they're either just going to keep ripping them off, or they'll learn, or they will just start reusing their own lids or own bottles, which is obviously ideal.
Do you want to try it now? Go on, give us. Because
it's one of them. You open it, but then I've been told it hits you in the face, hits you in the nose.
Because you have to click it
right
right back.
Yeah, closing it is a whole other thing. I've had practice.
Oh, you did? Yeah. That didn't seem too difficult.
Yeah, I did some practice.
Right.
How do you bring consumers along with a change like this, then?
Not give them a choice. It's a difficult one. I mean, the change with the cans, it made it easier for people. So that was a really easy change to make. This one, let's see what happens. It's relatively new. They've brought it in the last 6 months or so. So let's see how Sam feels about it in 6 months' time, and see if he's got used to it.
Just briefly tell us, Caitlin, about this amazing installation you've done in Stockport involving bottle lids.
So it's actually the UK's largest recycled plastic mural made entirely from bottle lids, with the help of about 40,000 people across Stockport. So it was actually about 80,000 bottle lids, but over the course of about 5 months, the people of Stockport actually managed to collect closer to like 500,000 bottle lids. So they're definitely not in short supply. And it's about 18.5 metres by 4 metres, and it depicts local wildlife and scenery and wildflowers that are all local to Stockport as well.
How did you do that? Did you stuck them on and then painted it?
No, they're all just pure plastic. So one of the things is we haven't wanted to mess with the plastic so that at the end of its life, if in 5-10 years we want to take it down, we can actually recycle the lids again. So all the colours that are on there are actually natural colours from the lids themselves. And it's literally just screwed on. So it's literally, and the backing board as well is 100% recycled plastic. So the whole thing is just either metal screws or recycled plastic.
It is very clever. It's very clever. Now, you're going to have to take away your own plastic waste here. Obviously. So, you're responsible for the...
I'll make it into my next mural.
Can you do that? Yes, incorporate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you both.
Thank you
so much, Sarah, Caitlin.